The desert does not forget. It buries. It silences. It waits. Beneath these waves of endless sand, something sleeps. A kingdom, once mighty, once known, now little more than a whisper in ancient texts and half-lost stories. It was said to be rich, powerful, defiant, a city of water and stone hidden in a land of fire. And then it vanished, swallowed by time, swallowed by the dunes. Who were they? How they rise? And why, after all they built, did the sands claim them completely? This is the story of the forgotten kingdom beneath the sands and the silence it left behind. For centuries, the desert was silent. No roads led here. No maps marked its presence. Just stories, fragments passed down by nomads, explorers, and dreamers. They spoke of a lost city hidden beyond the reach of wind and time. Most dismissed it as myth, until something strange happened. High above the Sahara, satellites scanning for oil and mineral deposits picked up unusual shapes, perfectly aligned angles beneath the dunes. Too symmetrical to be natural, too precise to ignore. A team of archaeologists arrived with cautious hope. What they uncovered defied expectation. Beneath layers of sand, they found stone blocks, weathered but intact. Walls, pathways, fragments of columns. The ruins of something once vast. There were carvings too, symbols no one had seen before. Not Egyptian, not Berber, not Nubian. Something older, something that didn't belong to any known script. The site was ancient, older than many of the civilizations that would come to dominate this region. And yet, no mention of it appeared in history books. No clear record of its rise or fall. Here was a kingdom erased, not just by sand, but by silence. The more they dug, the stranger it became. Burial chambers with no bodies. Pools long dried, but lined with stones that suggested water was once abundant. Sun-marked stones that aligned with solstices. Tools made of a metal alloy no one could identify. It was as if the desert had hidden not just a city, but a secret, an entire civilization whose very existence had been swallowed by time. The question wasn't just what they had found. It was how something so complex, so advanced, could simply disappear without a trace. Before the sands came, there was water. Springs flowed from underground aquifers, feeding gardens and stone pools. Crops grew where now there's only dust. They built with precision. Not just homes, but temples, terraces, and towers, structures aligned with the stars. Their city was designed to speak with the heavens. Each stone placed with intention. Trade routes passed through their gates. Gold, ivory, obsidian, carried by camel and boat. They dealt in goods, yes, but also in knowledge. They mapped the stars, tracked eclipses, and marked the changing of seasons with monoliths that still stand half-buried, forgotten. Their language was fluid, etched into clay and carved into walls. No one today can read it, but it lingers, an echo in stone, a question without an answer. And they were not isolated. Far from it. Artifacts from distant lands have been found among their ruins. Beads from the Nile, tools from the Levant, even shell fragments from the distant coast. They knew the desert wasn't eternal. They shaped it, fought it, lived in harmony with it. Their engineers channeled water with underground systems that kept the city alive even in drought. This was not a primitive people eking out survival. This was a thriving civilization. Mathematicians, builders, astronomers. A city that flourished where none should have. And then, with no clear reason, they were gone. No records, no warnings, just silence. Every rise invites a fall, but theirs came quietly. No signs of war, no scorched walls or shattered statues, just an absence. Some say the rain stopped, that the springs dried and the rivers turned to dust. Without water, even the strongest kingdom withers. Desertification is relentless. It doesn't strike like a sword, it creeps in like a shadow. Others believe it was disease, a sickness carried by traders or animals. Something the healers couldn't understand, something that spread faster than fire and left only silence behind. There are stranger theories too. Legends speak of a curse, a punishment for uncovering forbidden knowledge. Stories tell of a temple deep in the city's heart, one never opened, sealed with symbols that even the elders feared. Some believe they opened it. There are those who claim the city was never meant to be found, that it wasn't built by men alone, but with knowledge given or stolen from something older, something not of this world. Ancient myths describe sky fire, days of darkness, voices beneath the earth. Most dismiss these as metaphor. Others aren't so sure. What's most unsettling is not just that the city disappeared, but that no one spoke of it after. Civilizations record their rivals. Conquerors boast of victory. But here, nothing. It's as if the world agreed to forget. The city may be gone, but its shadow remains. In patterns, in symbols, in names whispered in desert winds. Artifacts have surfaced far from the site. A piece of pottery in a coastal tomb, a stone pendant etched with the same unknown script found in a distant oasis. Too scattered to prove a connection, too specific to ignore. Some oral traditions among desert tribes speak of an ancestor city, one that defied the gods and was swallowed by the earth. They speak of a time when the stars shifted, when men flew without wings and the sand turned to glass. Fragments of their language may have survived, carried in prayers, in lullabies, in carved marks reused by later tribes who never knew their origin. Like a ghost language hiding in plain sight. There are even ruins still undiscovered, mounds mistaken for hills, stones dismissed as natural formations. But under the surface, the city waits. In recent years, new satellite scans have revealed more anomalies. Geometric alignments, buried shapes beneath untouched sand. Some researchers believe we've only uncovered a fraction of the kingdom, that what we found is not the capital, but an outpost. If that's true, the true heart of the civilization may still lie hidden, deeper, farther, sleeping beneath centuries of silence, and maybe still watching. Time is the greatest eraser, but even time cannot hide everything. The desert buries, but it does not destroy. It preserves, it remembers, and one day, perhaps, it will reveal everything. The names, the faces, the truths we were never meant to find. Until then, we search, we listen, we wonder, because somewhere beneath the silence, the forgotten kingdom still breathes, waiting for someone to remember. If you enjoy stories like this, mysteries lost to time, ancient worlds beneath our feet, consider subscribing, sharing, and leaving a comment. It helps this channel reach others who listen between the lines of history.